Busy, so busy. Hi, my name is Tianle. My teammates call me Timmy.
Hi, my name is David Palisol. I'm a part of Group 3 and my team calls me D-Money.
Oh, hello. My name's Logan Bender and my teammates call me Logs.
Hi, my name is Manoj and Rachel calls me Boss.
Hi, my name is Dwayne and my team calls me Dre.
Hi, my name is Rachel and my teammates call me Ray Ray.
For the next 22 months, the Tangent team will work hard and work together to conquer a lot of challenges. Dr. Brasco has input a lot of energy and time to help us to understand the model of group performance. In the next 10 minutes, our team member will talk about what we have learned in this bootcamp. For example, for the team inputs, we will talk about the situation factor, how it can affect the team, the DMFL, the decision making for leaders. For the group structure part, we will talk about how to improve the team effectiveness. For the group process, we will talk about our nominal approach and how to improve the team communication.
You know, David, throughout our working lives, we encounter numerous problems that require teams. However, just pulling groups together without giving them the tools they need to be successful really isn't enough. One of the critical tools we found is structure. Now, we saw this in the Lego exercise, that by giving teams clear roles and responsibility, that really creates an environment for synergy. Each individual understands and knows their role and how they add value to the team's mission.
It's a great point, Dwayne. Our first step being creating and understanding our team rules, we were able to strategically define roles for that specific Lego Man exercise, where we come together right at the very beginning, hold a debrief, assign everybody an opportunity to provide input, and pick essentially a body part where they were able to go and look and figure out how they wanted to piece that together. And then from there, we were able to complete the exercise in a very efficient manner. And understanding that by creating these team rules, we created a psychologically safe environment for everybody to be able to provide their input, whether it was different from someone else's in the group or not, and provide their perspective to create an efficient strategy for completion of the task.
Okay. Manoj, what do you think you have learned about decision making and leadership?
T, so glad you asked. As I reflect on these 2 weeks that we've had at Yale SOM in immersion weeks, the thing that I'm going to go home with is the paper we read by Victor Vroom, titled Educating Managers for Decision Making and Leadership. In his paper, Vroom talked about how we are moving from a model of managers today leaning toward a participative model to really using situational factors in their decision-making process. Those options obviously are autocratic, consulting individuals, consulting groups, facilitating, and delegating.
Interesting. From this session, I learned it is important to match our decision-making style with the individual situation. From my personal experience, I used to lean more toward that consulting individual style, but now I learned it is important to listen to other people's opinion. In my workplace, there are always junior members in the team, and generally they have less years experience. However, in certain diseases area, they may have a tremendous experience. So it is important to take time to understand what they're saying before making a decision.
Yeah, and your example of talking about junior members of your team reminds me of the case we looked at in class with the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard captain was working with the junior members of his crew and had to decide about a major decision to save lives. In that example, we all recommended he would choose the autocratic method to make a decision and move on quickly. That said, Dwayne brought a great counterexample, which was use a facilitated model that would also be acceptable in a developmental style versus time-based, which, as we look at our daily lives, developmental is just as important as time-based.
Totally agree. I think different group members' opinion broaden our perspective. In fact, in that session, our team did a good job. At that time, we were already familiar with about the decision processing, especially how to discuss and make decisions within the team.
Sure.
So we efficiently express our opinion and make decisions pretty fast. Good job.
So last week week in our managing groups class, we had a case study given to us where we were expected to rank 15 items in terms of most important to least important for survival. And as a group, we had just recently met each other. We did establish a certain amount of ground rules of how we would work together, but we hadn't yet really had that experience of doing so.
So for this project, we came together and decided to do a quick debrief as per our team rules to figure out what kind of strategy we wanted to use to approach this task. The strategy we determined would be most efficient for us would be the nominal approach. And this approach basically assigned a point total to every single item for every single team member. And we bucketed those into the top 5, the middle 5, and the bottom 5. That allowed us to get an aggregate score for each one and really was intended to allow us to quickly rank the items as a larger group.
And what we found is that it was super effective for making sure that everybody contributed their opinion to the discussion, but we did find that it was rather tactical and we didn't spend enough time up front deciding on the full end-to-end approach of how we would tackle this case study as opposed to just one piece of that strategy. So looking back, we would have hashed out what do we do up front, perhaps a more robust discussion, then we go into the nominal approach, and then what do we do with the results of that nominal approach. So lesson learned, and we'll do a better job next time.
So Dwayne and I are here to talk a little bit about team communication. Over these last couple weeks, we've had, through the team building exercises, we've had some fantastic opportunities to streamline communication and our communication model within our team. And we found that the primary driver of our team's completion was being able to accurately communicate a large volume of information flow. This was present most notably in the tanagram exercise for us. And during that exercise, we had to transmit a lot of information with a time constraint, and it had to be really accurate, demanded a high level of accuracy. And we felt like that was great for driving synchronicity and workflow within our team, and as well as building trust.
Yeah, taking a little deeper look into that exercise, take a look at the slide, you can see that manager there with their understanding of what they want to do, but they have a weak information flow. And so the result is that each individual member of the team now is left to their own devices to figure out what success means to them. We also found as a team that created an undercurrent of anxiety for us as a team. However, when you have strong information flow, then that manager's understanding of success then translates very fluidly to the team, and we then create a shared view of success. And really, in conclusion, what we're saying is that you want to create a more synergistic environment. You need to have stronger communication with the team from the manager's perspective and with the workforce.
Great. It's been a fun week. I'd like to take some time as a group to kind of look at what our success criteria are as we measure ourselves at the end of next year.
Absolutely. My idea for a team goal would be to develop compassion as a skill and as a discipline that we practice in times of we're going to work a lot together in stressful time schedules and juggle our jobs and our families and our kids and everything. So that's my idea.
Great.
My idea for the team meetings would be make sure that we have specifics added, such as an outline or an agenda, and have them regularly scheduled.
So my idea is we're trying to be kind to each other because for the next 22 months, I think everyone is trying to go through a lot of difficulties, a lot of stress. So we will support each other so everyone will successfully go through this period.
Speaking of those difficulties, my idea would be to try to figure out a way to include and tie in the feedback loop as much as possible so that we could all be successful and kind of iterate and kind of grow.
Great. My idea was to have tighter team cohesion. We had a rough start. We lost a team member, but I think we've all kind of grown pretty close, and I'd like to see that grow over the next 2 years.
My idea was inspired by one of the articles we read for class, and there was a phrase that really resonated with me, which was enable the team to experience small wins that are invaluable to building team members' confidence, commitments, and competence. So,
Awesome. Dave, if you wouldn't mind grabbing some success criteria, do you have an idea of how we can measure this?
Sure, I think for the add specifics to team meetings, is a potential success rate would be 90% of meeting the 3 objectives that we outlined previously.
And then I think for small wins, we can make sure that we have that as a comment on our agenda before we start the meeting, and then afterwards make sure we reflect and ensure that if we did have any surprise wins, that we celebrated them at the time or afterwards.
Great. Sounds like we have 90% success criteria and adding to the agenda, celebrate small wins. Does that work for everybody? By show of hands, quick thumbs up. Awesome. Great. Thanks. We have a good measurement criteria, and we're going to have a great 2 years ahead of us.